Hello everybody, welcome back to Life with Cloud. We are continuing with our Disney Villainous series and deck compositions. Today we're going to jump on board the Jolly Roger and see what Captain Hook has in store for us. As always in these videos, we are going to go through the Villains deck and how it interacts with itself, the Hero/Fate deck and how it interacts with itself, and then we're going to end with how both of the decks interact with each other so that we can complete Captain Hook's objective. So let's begin. We start our journey with Captain Hook's players board. So as you can see on the far left, you have the Jolly Roger as its first player location, and Captain Hook will always start there. Followed by Skull Rock, and then Mermaid Lagoon, and then at the very end is Hangman's Tree. Now, you'll notice that in the very right-hand corner of Hangman's Tree, there is a lock icon, which means that at the very beginning of the game, Captain Hook does not have access to that location, and he must unlock it throughout the game. The objective of Captain Hook is to defeat Peter Pan at Jolly Roger. As we take a look at the Villains deck, Captain Hook has 30 very unique cards to his playstyle. So we will start off with the most important item in his card deck, which is Neverland Map. There's only one copy of this, and this is what you will need to find to unlock Hangman's Tree. Moving forward, this is a Captain Hook special, which is an item card that gives you additional actions. So in this one, Ingenious Vice, you can actually gain the opportunity or the action to move heroes to any adjacent location, and you only have one copy of this. The next one is Captain Hook's Case. And so here, similar to Ingenious Device, you can add additional locations or additional actions at any location. For this one here, you get to draw additional power crystals. And then the third is called Cannon, and at this one here, you can actually play at any of the locations, which allows you to have Vanquish as the extra option or the extra action. The last item in Captain's Hook deck is called Cutlass. So Cutlass is super standard. You just add it to any ally, and that ally gets a +2 strength. Now, as we take a look at effect cards, the first one is called Aye Aye Sir. So Aye Aye Sir allows you to move an ally to an adjacent unlocked location. That ally gets a +2 strength until the end of the turn. This will be important later on as you need to defeat some strong heroes in Captain Hook's Fate deck. Next, you have 3 copies of Give Them a Scare. So Give Them a Scare, look at the top 2 cards of your Fate deck, either discard both of them or return them in any order. So we'll talk a little bit more about this later on and how the deck interacts with each other, but this is one of the cards that will help you find Peter Pan so that you can actually defeat him. Next, you have Worthy Opponent. So you gain 2 power when you play this card. Reveal the top cards from the deck until you reveal a hero, play that hero, and discard the rest. Once again, a very important card to help you find and draw Peter Pan, and you have 3 copies of this. We now enter the conditions, or the cards that you get to activate on other players' turn. So this one is called Obsession. So during their turn, which is other people's turn, if they defeat a hero of 4 or more, you can play Obsession, which allows you to reveal cards from the top of your Fate deck until you find a hero, play the hero, discard the rest, right? So similar to Worthy Opponent, but this is now on other people's turn. The next one in the condition is called Cunning. And so once again, on other players' turn, if another player has an ally of 4 or more strength in the realm, you may play Cunning, which allows you to play one of your allies for free. This is huge as you want to build up that pirate army. As we take a look at some of his allies, his first one here, and you have 2 copies of, is Pirate Brute. Nothing special about him. Costs 3 to summon, 4 strength. The next pirate you can summon is Swashbuckler. One energy crystal and then 2 power or 2 strength, and you have 3 copies of him. Uniquely to this deck is Smee. Smee gets a +2 strength when he's at the Jolly Roger. Super important. 2 energy crystals or 2 power crystals to summon and a base of 2 strength. Mr. Starkly is the next ally. When Mr. Starkly is played, you may move a hero from his location to an adjacent unlocked location. Once again, you'll notice a lot of things here is about moving heroes because that's actually part of the objective to defeat Peter Pan at the Jolly Roger. Mr. Starkly is 2 to summon and then 2 strength. Last but not least is Boarding Party. So you have 3 copies of Boarding Party. When performing a Vanquish action, Boarding Party may be used to defeat hero at their location or an adjacent location. So this allows you to have flexibility on the map, so you don't have to always move your allies to specific locations or play them to specific locations. You can play them at like Skull Rock or Mermaid Lagoon, just so you have more access to them as well. Once again, 3 copies of Boarding Party. As we begin, one of the maps that we want to find very quickly is Neverland map. This unlocks Hangman's Tree. It also has a second effect where when an item is played, you may discard Neverland map instead of paying the cost of the item, which means that you can get rid of Neverland map to get a free item on the field. As we play Neverland map, let's say we play him at Jolly Roger, the starting location of Captain Hook. It unlocks Hangman's Tree. But at the same time, if we ever needed to play an item, we can also play it at a free of cost. So if, let's say, Captain Hook was struggling, but he really wanted to play this card here, Hook's Case, which allows him to generate more resources, instead of costing 2 power to play at the very beginning, he can discard Neverland map and play it here. Let's say when we discard Neverland map, at this location, Mermaid Lagoon, if Captain Hook was to move here, he can now draw 3 power crystals plus the power crystal here, and then he has 2 play card, and then he also has move an ally or move an item, which is wonderful. So that might be one of the strategies that we use for Neverland map. Another card that's unique to Captain Hook is Smee. So we want to play, ideally, Smee at the Jolly Roger at any given time, and the reason for that is just efficiency. He only costs 2 power crystals to summon, but he starts with a base of 2. But if played to Jolly Roger, he now has a base strength of 4, right? So keep in mind, Captain Hook's objective is to defeat Peter Pan at the Jolly Roger. So as we start, Smee is a great resource to acquire enough strength to defeat Peter Pan. Now we're going to take a look at the additional action cards within Captain Hook's deck. So within Captain Hook's deck, the first additional action card he has is Move a Hero. So at any given time, if we were to play Ingenious Device, if Captain Hook was ever to step on Jolly Roger, he would now have 5 possible actions: grab a power crystal, discard as many cards from his hand as he wants, play a card, vanquish, and now move a hero. The next additional action is +1 power crystal. So if we played Captain Hook's Case at Skull Rock, he would now be able to draw 2 energy crystals every time he lands on Skull Rock, on top of performing a fate action, discarding, and playing a card. The last additional action in Hook's deck is this one here, which allows an additional vanquish. So we played it at Mermaid Lagoon. Every time Captain Hook comes to Mermaid Lagoon, he can draw 3 energy crystals, play 2 cards, move an item or an ally, and also vanquish as well. So these cards are super helpful as you are looking to move Peter Pan when he starts off here at Hangman's Tree all the way over to the Jolly Roger. We will now explore what is inside the hero or the fate deck of Captain Hook. So to begin, we're going to start off with 2 copies of Lost Boys. So Lost Boys is when performing a vanquished action to defeat the Lost Boys, at least 2 allies must be used, and they have a strength of 4. Next one is Michael, and you have 1 copy of Michael. Michael gets 1+ strength for each location in Captain Hook's realm that has a hero including Michael's location. Next is the main character himself, Peter Pan. So Peter Pan is super strong. Peter Pan has a strength of 8. And when Peter Pan is revealed, he must be played immediately at Hangman's Tree, even if it is locked. Any other fate cards revealed during this action is then discarded. So he is the main character of this battle. Next is Tinkerbell, Peter Pan's trusty assistant. And so when Tinkerbell is played, you may discard 1 ally from her location. She has a strength of 2. Wonderful card to remove allies from Captain Hook's game board. Next is John. John has a strength of 2. John gets a +1 strength if he has an item attached to him. Next one is TikTok the alligator or the crocodile. If Captain Hook moves to TikTok's location, Captain Hook's hand must be discarded immediately. Super powerful card. Next one, the heroine of the story is Wendy. All other heroes in Captain Hook's realm gets a +1 strength. She herself has a strength of 3. And then now you have 2 effect cards. They're called Splitting Headache. So when this card is played, discard an item from Captain Hook's realm. So this is a way to remove some of those beneficial cards that we had seen earlier, like the additional action cards. Next 2 items we're going to take a look at in the Fate deck is called Taunt. And so when Taunt is played, attach it to a hero. Captain Hook must defeat heroes with Taunt before defeating other heroes. Last but not least, you have 3 copies of this, and it's called Pixie Dust. When Pixie Dust is played, attach it to a hero. That hero then gets a +2 strength. And so these are the 15 cards in Captain Hook's Hero or Fate deck. So the first card, or the first hero card that we're going to take a look at today is John. So John gets a +1 strength if he has any items attached to him. So let's say John currently has a strength of 2, and he's played at Mermaid Lagoon. So John with a basic health of 2 doesn't do very much. However, we have 2 items within the hero deck that can support him. The first one is Pixie Dust. So Pixie Dust gives a hero another +2 strength. So if John was attached, or if Pixie Dust was attached to John, his strength would now be 5 instead of 4 because of John's effect. The other item that is quite strong is called Taunt. So Taunt, what it does is if we were to play Taunt onto John, John's strength would now be +3, and we must defeat John before we can defeat any other hero on the game board. The next card we're going to take a look at is Michael. And so Michael gets a +1 strength for each location in Captain Hook's realm that has a hero, including Michael's location. As we take a look at our current game board, we have Tinkerbell here at the Jolly Roger, we have the Lost Boys here at Skull Rock, and then we have Peter Pan here at Hangman's Tree. So Michael starts off with a strength of 1. When played, there are now 4 heroes at all 4 locations. So Michael's strength is now at a 5 total. Now, if Michael was defeated, or let's say if Tinkerbell was defeated at Jolly Roger, Michael's strength would now go down to 4. If there are no available heroes currently at any location, but when Michael's played immediately, there's 1 location that has a hero, which is Mermaid Lagoon. Michael's strength is now 2. So Michael's base strength may be 1, but actually when he gets played, he has a strength of 2. Moving on, we're going to take a look at Lost Boys. So when trying to vanquish Lost Boys, we must use at least 2 allies to defeat them, and Lost Boy has a strength of 4. So let's say Lost Boy was played here to Mermaid Lagoon, and if we ever played this character here called Pirate Brute, has a strength of 4 at Mermaid Lagoon, this would be not satisfactory to defeat the Lost Boys. what we would actually need to do to defeat the Lost Boys is to use 2 cards, like 2 copies of Swashbuckler to defeat him. So each of them has a strength of 2. Combined, they have a strength of 4. So by playing 2 here at this location, we can now defeat the Lost Boys. The next card we're going to take a look at is Wendy. All other heroes in Captain Hook's realm get a +1 strength. So this does not include Wendy because it says all other heroes. So Wendy's base power stays 3 when she's played, which is different than Michael. When he gets played, he automatically gets a boost. So let's say when Wendy gets played at Hangman's Tree, her power stays 3. However, if we were to play Tinkerbell, whose base strength is 2, her strength when played is now 3. And let's say we play TikTok, and whose base strength is 5, and we play him here at Mermaid Lagoon, his base strength is now 6, right? So Wendy impacts only other heroes and not herself. The next hero we're going to take a look at is Tinkerbell. So when Tinkerbell's played, you may discard 1 ally from her location. So very simply put, if someone else drew Tinkerbell and we played her here at Mermaid Lagoon, Mr. Starkey would be destroyed or discarded. If we play Tinkerbell at the Jolly Roger, let's say over here, then the Swashbuckler would be destroyed or discarded. Or if Tinkerbell was played here at Skull Rock, the boarding party ally would be discarded. Last but definitely not least is TikTok. So if Captain Hook moves to TikTok's location, Captain Hook must immediately discard his hand. One of the most fun card to play around is TikTok. If we ever play TikTok, let's say here at Hangman's Tree or Jolly Roger, right? And so the reason we would play them at either of these 2 locations is because Captain Hook, he must travel at some point to Hangman's Tree to activate the Move a Hero Fate card that we see here. If Captain Hook does not have Ingenious Device in play, which allows him the additional action to move a hero, Hangman's Tree is the only location that has available for that. So if we played TikTok earlier at Hangman's Tree, every time Captain Hook comes here, he must discard his entire hand. On the flip side, if Captain Hook was able to get past that little barrier, he must then defeat Peter Pan at the Jolly Roger. So Captain Hook must always, at one point, end up at the Jolly Roger. By playing TikTok there, it actually stops Captain Hook from ever landing on the Jolly Roger until he somehow defeats him with his allies. So this is great positioning for TikTok. It's always either at Hangman's Tree or the Jolly Roger. We are now going to take a look at some tips and combinations. And so the main one we want to take a look at is how do we defeat Peter Pan at the Jolly Roger. So first, we want to move Peter Pan from here at the Hangman's Tree all the way over to the Jolly Roger. And what we want to have prepared essentially is the most power efficient way to defeat Peter Pan is by using Smee, which is, his base strength is 2. But by playing him at the Jolly Roger, he has now a strength of 4. On top of that, we have 2 of these Cutler cards. So Cutler is attached to an ally. They get a +2 strength. So the math is super simple. At a base of 4, Smee gets another +4 with 2 Cutlass on him. And so that gives him a strength of 8, which is able to vanquish Peter Pan. This only costs a total of 4 power crystals to play. However, it does take a little bit of time to find the right cards and to play them onto Smee. Let's say someone has played TikTok at Hangman's Tree. So now it's stopping your Captain Hook from entering here to move Peter Pan or whoever, another hero to adjacent space. In this case, Peter Pan, because he's the main objective. But we need to destroy TikTok, right? Brute here has a strength of 4, which is not strong enough to vanquish TikTok. However, if we were to vanquish, using that symbol there, we can actually play boarding party here at Mermaid Lagoon. Very unique effect. We can actually use the strength of boarding party to add on to destroy or vanquish a hero. So in this location, boarding party can impact Hangman's Tree, but at the same time, it can impact Skull Rock as well. So with Pirate Brute, boarding party with a total strength of 6, they can now defeat TikTok here at Hangman's Tree. One of the interactions here, defeating one of the stronger characters, which is TikTok, also is using Pirate Brute and then using the effect card, Aye Aye Sir. So Aye Aye Sir allows you to move an adjacent an ally to an adjacent space. Once moved there, the ally has a strength of +2 until the end of turn. So Brute currently has a strength of 4, as we can see here at the bottom left-hand corner. But let's say we moved him from Mermaid Lagoon over here all the way to Hangman's Tree. He now has a strength of 6, able to vanquish TikTok as well. All right, so as we take a look at some of the effect cards, this one here called Worthy Opponent. When we play Worthy Opponent, we get to gain 2 power crystals. So we're going to take 2 power crystals from the Cauldron of Power. And then we're going to reveal cards from the top of our hero or fate deck until we find a hero. Once the hero is found, we play that hero, and then all the rest of the card is discarded. So the first card is Item, so that gets discarded. Another item gets discarded. Okay, so Tinkerbell's the first hero. So Tinkerbell is now played because of the effect of Worthy Opponent. Similarly to the effect card Worthy Opponent, we now have the condition card Obsession. Obsession gets triggered when another player that is playing with you, they defeat a hero of a strength of 4 or higher, and then you can play Obsession, which allows you to reveal hero from your fate deck, and then until you find a hero, you can either play or discard that hero. So when we were to activate our Obsession, we are revealing, hero next. So we got lucky here. John is the first hero. So we now can play John at any location. The last of the condition cards that Captain Hook has is Cunning. So during their turn, if another player has an ally with a strength of 4 or more in the realm, you may play Cunning. So they don't have to do anything with the ally. It just has to be in the realm. So let's say someone is on their turn and they've moved their piece. You can say that activates my condition. And so condition gets activated. We can now play any ally from our hand. And so we choose, let's say, to play Pirate Brute, and we need to get rid of John. So we're going to play him here at Skull Rock in preparation to vanquish John later on as well. In our current game board state, we have Peter Pan summoned at Hangman's Tree and Captain Hook hanging it at Jolly Roger. We decide to activate, play a card, and we play our ally, Mr. Starkly. When Mr. Starkly is played, we can move a hero from his location to an unlocked location. So let's say we play Mr. Starkly here at Hangman's Tree, which allows us to move a hero, in this case Peter Pan, from his current location to an adjacent location. This purpose here is to help you move Peter Pan as fast as possible over to the Jolly Roger without always having to step on the Fate Move an Ally card or playing Ingenious Device, which also has the same effect. All right, as we are trying to destroy Peter Pan or vanquish Peter Pan, what are we looking out for? Are these cards, the taunt cards that can slow down our progression, right? So the taunt card, when played, let's say if John was here and we played a taunt card on him, we can't actually attack Peter Pan at all until John is vanquished. Even if we had Peter Pan here all the way at the Jolly Roger and we had the allies to defeat him, we must remove John from the board first prior to defeating Peter Pan. So every time we see a taunt, definitely someone we want to remove. So the less heroes on your board as Captain Hook, the better. As a quick summary of how to complete Captain Hook's objective of defeating Peter Pan at the Jolly Roger, we must first draw the Neverland map, play the item which allows us to unlock Hangman's Tree. We are now going to use cards like Obsession to find our hero, or Worthy Opponent to find our hero, and the hero we're looking for is Peter Pan. When Peter Pan is found, he must be played to Hangman's Tree. We will then use this action here, or Mr. Starkly, or ingenious device to move Peter Pan from Hangman's Tree to Mermaid Lagoon to Skull Rock, and then finally ending up at the Jolly Roger. And then with the preparation of Mr. Smee, 2 cutlers, or any combination of 8 strength to vanquish Peter Pan. To win with Captain Hook, you do not have to defeat Peter Pan at the beginning of your turn, at the end of your turn. As long as you defeat him, you are the winner. That's it, guys. So Captain Hook is super simple to play as well. Move Peter Pan over from Hangman's Tree all the way to the Jolly Roger, and then defeat him at the Jolly Roger, right? As always, if you guys have any questions about how Captain Hook plays, or if I had missed something, please feel free to leave it in the comment below and let me know. Also, let me know which deck you want to see next as I go through the rest of the starter box. But if you have a preference of another card or another villain you want to see first, I'm happy to do that as well. Once again, thank you so much for spending time with me as I continue the series. I enjoy going through a lot of these decks. I really like talking about it and sharing different strategies, but definitely want to hear from you guys as well if you have different strategies or different ways that you find is helpful as you're playing through as well. I want to thank you guys for spending time with me today, and as always, stay safe during this time, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Bye for now.